Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Scarface 1920. Scarface 1920 is brought to you by Resin Games. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and games range anywhere from 90 to 150 minutes. Welcome to Chicago in the Roaring 20s. Prohibition has made the liquor business illegal, and now criminal gangs operate in the underworld and try to take control of the city. Blood, influence, power, and money add up to a dangerous mix on the streets. In Scarface 1920, you will lead a gang of mobsters aiming to rule Chicago during the dry era, 1920 to 33. To succeed, you will have to rule every inch in gangland, expand your racketeering, run bootlegging operations, bribe the city officials, and make sure the coppers are on your side. Scarface 1920 blends worker placement with deck building mechanics in a game where you will have to recruit new associates, break new deals, fill the streets of Chicago with your thugs, enhance your headquarters, and do some dirty jobs along the way. Every gang has a distinct set of abilities embodied in their boss, and in every game you'll be able to choose a different path to victory. However, in this turf war, you'll have to confront other rival gangs that share an identical goal, growing their criminal empire, but they are not the only challenge you will face. Elliot Ness and his feds are out to get you too. The main map has various cards that you'll be acquiring throughout the game and locations you will be visiting in order to perform certain types of actions as you strive to become the ultimate crime boss. Each player will be taking on the role of one of these bosses and their gang of thugs. You'll be setting up your player board with your boss and upgrade cubes. Your thugs will be placed on the headquarters, safe house, and recruits. This is your main thug board. You have a starting deck of cards and each boss has their own set of abilities. And each player will start with control of one of the districts. A game of Scarface 1920 lasts 3 rounds, regardless of the number of players. However, the time track that determines the duration of every round will change depending on the number of players in the game. Beginning with the starting player, players take turns clockwise. As long as the player has cards left in their hand or deck, they must perform at least one of the 8 available actions. Only when a player has no cards left, they will then perform the reorganize. After players reorganize, the time marker will advance into the next box of the time track. As soon as the time marker reaches the extra space, the end of the round is triggered. When the last round ends, players will count the money they've collected during the game and add any final bonuses. The player with the most money will be the winner. So, throughout the course of the round, you will be taking one of 8 actions as long as you have cards in your hand or deck. This is a deck builder, so you'll be playing your deck of cards in front of you. This is known as your plan. You will be using these cards for their abilities and resource points, muscle and influence. So muscle and influence will determine your ability to perform certain actions. Each of these plan cards also have abilities or skills showing various icons and requirements. You have standard skills and matching skills. They both trigger effects which are activated regardless of the muscle and influence points that you have gained. And as you play these plan cards and perform actions, you will be moving your token up the crime track. And yes, you can lower it as well, but you need to keep an eye on this track because once it hits the end, then a federal raid will be triggered. Thugs that are located on the underworld space will be placed in prison and a raid card is flipped, applying the effects to all players based on where they are located on the crime rate track. All of them are color coded, so it's easy to track. Elliot Ness and his Untouchables are always keeping a watchful eye. So, for your various actions, you might send a thug to the underworld. This, of course, will raise your crime rate based on how many of your thugs are present. But this space allows you to do many things. You will use your influence points and resources like alcohol for these sub-actions. So you might recruit thugs, getting them ready for later use, moving them from the safe house and then to your headquarters. Hire associates, adding new cards to your deck with new abilities, muscle, and influence. The influence needed is indicated by the stars at the bottom. If you also spend alcohol, you can add the card to your hand, otherwise it goes directly to your discard pile. Or you might draw a new job card. You only keep one of these, but draw equal to the number of influence points in your plan. Jobs can be completed anytime, regardless if it's your turn or not. There are 2 types. You have instant, giving you a one-time effect, and permanent, giving you an ongoing effect for the rest of the game. Or draw a dealer card. Again, drawing based on your influence, Dealers is one of the ways you store alcohol and or guns, the main resources in the game, next to cash of course, giving your limited storage, but cards can be combined to give you bigger and better deals. So anytime you gain these resources, they must be stored in a dealer or in a neighborhood you control. Or you can make sales with the goods you've acquired in deals or stored in the neighborhoods you control. For each of your trucks in the area, you spend one less resource, and if there are any police cars, well, then you'll have to pay them to look the other way, dipping into your cash flow and ultimately your victory points at the end of the game. But this is one of your main ways to gain profits, or you choose to activate the authority area of the board, moving a thug from your headquarters to this space. This allows you to do several things as well, like retrieve thugs from the prison, or remove control markers from neighborhoods belonging to other players. You can also sell goods from your supply, which only gains you $6 for each one sold, or you can place business tokens on neighborhoods you control. And the big one, allowing you to decrease your crime rate. All of these options, again, will require you to use influence from your plan. Or you may choose to send one of your thugs to a deal, hoping that you meet all the requirements. Once active, you will take the goods from the supply, or send a thug to a district, adding muscle to the area. This is an area you already have presence in, or you can choose to move a thug and or vehicle to another district. All strategic planning to take over territories. Once you're in a good position, you can seize a neighborhood. You must be present in the area to gain control of it. The muscle in your plan must be equal to or higher than the defense value of the tile, and you must take into consideration if it's controlled by a rival. And if police cars are present, all these things will increase the difficulty, so you will need even more muscle to capture it. And finally, you can upgrade your gang by improving the stats. You take an upgrade cube from your boss track and put it in a stat box, the one you want to upgrade. And this is going to require that you have influence and muscle to meet the requirements, and you will also need to have the cash on hand. This is all going to increase your crime rate, of course, but as you move your boss along the upgrade track, there will be bonuses along the way. And every time your boss moves up one level on the track, it will increase your overall influence and muscle, also giving you access to additional cards like the underboss, the counselor, or the chauffeur. But these stats will allow you to do so many different things with your upgrades, like increasing your hand size, or adding lawyers so you can pull more thugs from prison, adding to the amount of thugs you can recruit, or the dealer's supply, increasing the amount of alcohol and guns acquired, or vehicles, which allows you to add one to a district. And the big one, nightclubs, giving you the ability to flip over a neighborhood and convert it to a nightclub. Nightclubs are one of the best ways to make some real serious cash in the game. So they have a better defense and they offer a better selling rate for goods. So once you run out of cards in your hand and your deck, then you must reorganize. You know, it's a bit of a cleanup phase as well, but you're gonna sell in your neighborhoods, you're gonna retrieve thugs, you're gonna recruit new thugs, and reshuffle your deck. Then you advance the time marker. At the end of the round, you will advance Elliot Ness by one level. You'll raid, refill the market, and reveal another news card and reset the time marker. So you will do this for 3 rounds, and once the final card has been drawn, Prohibition ends, then you'll total up your cash and collect your bonuses, and whoever has the most will be the ultimate crime boss. Alright folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form. So keep a close eye in the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, this was just a broad look at all the available options. There's so much here, especially with all the associate cards that you can gather for your deck and so forth. Also, the way the different cars work, and you bring in a car, you get more muscle in an area, or trucks helping you with goods and so forth, and the Elliot Ness track. The thing about this is that wherever he is on the track, that's the lowest you could possibly be in a crime level. So as he raises up, it's a bit of a time pressure as you get ever closer to raids and so forth, and having more and more raids as he closes in around you. So it becomes very thematic, and then gaining that cash, right? And those different types of ways to do that. There's lots of ways you can, but converting areas into nightclubs is really a huge way to gather cash from the different goods that you can sell in those areas. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something that'd be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it from me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.